For years, I heard people speak about the thief on the cross. Yet one day I found myself asking a different question, a question so simple that it almost seemed obvious. If the thief entered paradise, who was the man who granted him access? That question changed everything, because suddenly the story was no longer centered on the thief. It was centered on the one hanging beside him, the middleman, the one suspended between two criminals, the one mocked by rulers, mocked by soldiers, rejected by many, recognized by one, the one who, while bleeding, still possessed the authority to open paradise. You mean the story about the king hidden on a cross? The king? Yes, because most people only saw 3 dying men. But one dying thief saw a king in his kingdom. The younger friend leaned forward. And then what happened? One thief rejected him. One thief recognized him. What do you mean recognized him? The thief looked beyond the blood, beyond the wounds, beyond the humiliation. And somehow, he saw a king. Maybe grace opened his eyes. But while everyone else saw weakness, the thief saw authority. The younger friend whispered, "Repeat that again." While everyone else saw weakness, the thief saw authority. Silence filled the room. And then the thief said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." The younger friend immediately interrupted. "Wait," he said, "kingdom? While the man was dying?" Yes, how could he possibly believe that? Because somehow the thief understood the nails could not cancel his kingship. The blood could not erase his identity. The cross could not stop his kingdom. The younger friend sat speechless. And what did the middleman say? The older friend looked upward for a moment before answering softly, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." The younger friend stared at his older friend. Then he whispered, "So this was never merely about forgiveness." The older friend nodded. "No, it was about restoration." The younger friend looked back at the cross, and suddenly the story felt much bigger than a thief, much bigger than a crucifixion, much bigger than a single moment it felt had lost, like the reopening of something mankind long ago. So the thief did nothing to earn it? Nothing. No good works, no years of religion, no future obedience, no time left to rebuild his life, only faith, only surrender, only a final cry toward the king beside him. And the middleman let him in? No. The middleman granted access. The younger friend covered his mouth. You mean there were 3 condemned men? Yes. One was an innocent man named Jesus, yet sentenced like a criminal. Yes. And the third, the younger friend's voice slowed. The third one was the only one who recognized the king. The older friend smiled softly. And you mean to tell me that this condemned thief, this broken man, without a perfect life, without years of holiness, without theological training, without time to redeem himself, was granted access to paradise? The older friend nodded slowly. Yes, the younger friend covered his mouth in disbelief. And the thief? The thief beside him possessed no offerings, no time left to rebuild his life, only a broken heart, failing breath, and one final cry. "Jesus, remember me." Silence again. Then softly he said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." The younger friend stared forward in awe. You mean to tell me the man never attended Bible school, never became religious, never cleaned up his entire life, never had years to prove himself, never performed great works, and was never baptized? Yes. And he still entered paradise? The older friend laughed again. Yes. The younger friend sat there stunned. That completely destroys human pride. Yes, it destroys the idea that people can boast before God. Correct. This means the entire weight of his salvation rested completely on the middleman. Silence. So, somewhere in paradise stands a former criminal, welcomed into eternal life, whose entire testimony is simply, "The man on the middle cross said I could come." The older friend leaned forward. Then the older friend added softly, "And that is why grace humbles every man. Because none of us enter paradise, carrying our achievements in our hands. We enter only because the king opened the door." Wait, the younger friend spoke quietly now. If the thief entered paradise without titles, without fixing his entire life first, then what does that mean for the rest of us? The older friend looked at him carefully. It means the middleman came closer to broken people than most imagine. Silence. The cross was never only about one dying criminal. The invitation was larger than the hill. The younger friend's breathing slowed. And all this time, people thought the story was mainly about death. But it was? No, what do you mean? Religion, good works, self-righteousness, human effort, trying to become good enough, trying to rebuild ladders back to heaven. The younger friend interrupted. But none of it could reopen the door. Exactly. The younger friend paused.